How hard did you push it? Till I black out? Yes. Numerous times, yes.
What's happening, Municipals? This is your boy Big C. We got Ashton. We got still with us, not producer Jack, but doing other things with us. Still helping with the production, but we've got him getting his hands on a bunch of other stuff for us now, and you will find out about that on this podcast. But to introduce new video audio producer extraordinaire, Pax, how you doing, buddy?
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm glad to be here.
Man, we're glad to have you aboard the Municipal train. You know, it's chugging along, but I think we gained some steam, a little bit more coal thrown on the fire, bringing you on. We're really excited for that. We want to introduce you kind of to the listeners, and you being a part of this. You're not probably going to be on the pod as frequently as me and Ashton, but we still want everybody to know kind of who's behind the scenes, who's making things happen. Tell people a little bit about your history in golf, when you got started, how you bring, expertise to the audio video realm, all of that kind of stuff for us.
Yeah, for sure. So, funny enough, I started playing golf in college. But before that, I was a big tennis guy, grew up playing tennis, did a bunch of junior tournaments, played in high school, and then was recruited in college, but got burnt out. The golf team was having like open tryouts, and my golf team wasn't that great in college. Yeah, one of my friends and I, we tried out for the team, and luckily enough, we made it. But there, I really fell in love with the game. This was like, I want to say 8 years ago now. But fell in love with the game, played kind of all over the place in the Pacific Northwest, played in Bend, played Chambers Bay. I haven't gotten out to Bandon yet, but yeah, that's one of my bucket lists, definitely. But yeah, I've just kind of struggled to get a lot better throughout the years. Golf is a tough sport, and sometimes I make it a little hard on myself playing blades and stuff, but yeah, just really can't get enough of the sport, and happy to be on the pod with you guys.
Well, tell everybody a little bit about your audio visual background and kind of what you did in college and what you do for a living now.
Yeah, so in college, I actually studied film and cinema, and I produced some really great student films over there. Two of them, they went on kind of a short film like student film festival, kind of around like the world actually. But yeah, now I work for a brand called Adidas. You might know of them, the Three Stripes. And there I'm on the performance marketing team. Still using my creative juices, still using that a lot, but now kind of putting it to good use, joining the podcast here with you guys.
Well, Pax, we are super excited to have you. You've been on for a short while, and you've killed it getting us scheduled and getting pods out and starting to do edited clips and working with Jack and doing stuff collaboratively with him. It's been great to kind of grow the podcast in a positive way and get us to kind of a place that I think is allowing Jack a lot more freedom to be able to, express his creativity in different lights and things we're going to talk about with, doing quarterly merch drops and things like that throughout the year. So we're really excited kind of, with things that are going on. And one thing I think we should just jump right into is one thing we're trying to expand this year are some goals that we have. And one goal that's going to be really, easy for us to achieve because of a great sponsor that has come on for us is Union Green. And with the sponsor that's coming on with Union Green, we're going to be able to do a travel video series this year that we're going to be putting out on our YouTube channel. That will be also where we're going to start posting videos of us doing the podcast as well. So a lot more expansive video side of things that we're going to be doing. But before we get into that, I kind of want to tell you guys a little bit more about Union Green coming on and being a new sponsor with us. It was a very organic thing. Meredith, who is the director over there that pretty much handles everything that has to do with Union Green, reached out to us, through Instagram, and really loved what we were doing on our side through our social media and also through the podcast. And them being more of a green grass, muni style brand really gelled with what we were doing. And so we were able to get together and conversate, and she started sending us some merch, and me and Ashton loved the equipment that she was sending us and the gear that we were getting. And so coming towards the start of the year, she was ready to kind of ramp up for Q1, and we were offered and privileged to get the offer to be, on Union Green now, which is going to allow us to kind of expand our, bandwidth a little bit outside of just the podcast and start doing some of these golf travel series. So you guys don't just get to hear us talk about golf, but you actually get to fucking watch us go out and play these courses that we always talk about. And I think that's going to be a really fun thing for our listeners and people that tune in, to be able to actually see us hacks go out there and try to, play some golf out there. So I think it's going to be hugely expansive, and I'm excited to hear all of your guys' comments and thoughts on some of the video content that we're going to be putting out here really soon. Ashton, did I miss anything?
No, hello, Big Chris. No, I think overall you touched on it. I mean, I think the only things that I wanted to emphasize that's really resonated with me are Union Green's focus on inclusivity. I think that's been really big for us, because I mean, I think sure, being casual, wearing hoodies on the golf course, sure. But I think a lot of the stuff around, just being more welcoming on the golf course, less rigid as far as rules. And to be clear, we're not proponents of cheating. It's just more of really kind of being less rigid and really making a course for a place where people can really explore themselves on the course and not have it be so tied up. Because I think it was really helpful for me kind of shepherding Nick at the beginning of COVID, because having played golf my whole life, it's very easy to forget how, of course, it's intimidating to try to hit a 5-iron, but it's really intimidating to walk onto a golf course and you don't know the etiquette, you don't know about standing in someone's line, you don't understand about all this stuff. And I think what Union Green is really about, to me, is all different kinds of people, backgrounds, skill levels, and really making sure that, for example, like right now they're talking about the T-Bird, their ball sale, right? Where it's like, yeah, like that golf ball is, if you use our promo code Municipals 20, it's $11 a dozen, right? Like that is a price point that like pretty much everyone can afford, like a dollar golf ball. And I think that's a big thing for us. I think we're also kind of a unique fit for them as well, because, when we first met Meredith, we were talking to her and she was like, yeah, our brand is, it's also people who are just going to like drink some beers and not really care about their handicaps. And we're like, well, we're kind of in between the two, because like, we're definitely down to have some beers, but definitely down for municipal courses, but like we have handicaps and we want to beat each other. And like, we may play municipal golf courses, but we take our golf seriously. So I think it's really interesting how kind of we fit in with them, where we definitely kind of love the laid back, inclusive messaging of Union Green, but making it very clear that we take our golf, if anything, probably too seriously, right? I mean, I was up at 6:45 this morning to drive 45 minutes to the East Bay to go work on getting more shallow. We'll kind of talk about golf goals and all. So yeah, and just really grateful to them. I mean, a lot of what Chris and I have discussed is we've just been doing this, every week and now every 2 weeks and recording these, and them taking a bit of a chance on us is going to allow us to do some awesome stuff. And so, we'll talk about some of our podcasts, or kind of, those were to say company, but company goals kind of coming up here. But, the addition of being able to add packs as an awesome team member, combined with some of the funding coming from Union Green, it's just going to allow us to do stuff that we simply couldn't have before. And we're certainly hopeful that that partnership is going to be, mutually beneficial. So that's the biggest thing for me. And again, to your point, like, can't say it enough. Meredith is a team of one. She's been amazing to work with. And just, again, it's really, really exciting. So no, I think that's what I would add.
Yeah, and
So
I'd love to just talk about, how great the fit is, because I was working with both Ashton and Meredith on really locking in the partnership with Union Green, and I think the two things that really stand out to me is, they're a lifestyle brand. They're not pretending to be really anything else that they're not. They're not, a brand that's like, oh, like, we're a lifestyle brand, but we're also trying to make you play better and we're trying to make you enjoy the game, blah blah blah. Like, they're straight up a lifestyle brand, and they want to make sure that people are having fun, wearing their gear and playing their ball and doing it at an affordable level. And then the other thing that I really like about what they're doing is they really are more into what we're about in terms of being committed to local golf. If you guys go to their website, one of the things that will be coming up soon, and that I think we're going to be contributing to, is highlighting local courses. And I don't really know a lot of brands that actually do that. So those two things are really what stand out to me as far as the things that they're doing and why they're a great fit for us. So very excited specifically for us to be able to, contribute to the local aspect, because we do have some amazing local golf courses in the Bay Area that I want everyone else to hear about. And then be able to learn about other local golf courses, both in Portland and with the other brand partners that Union Green has. So super excited for them to come aboard and help us be able to do more things.
yeah, and kind of speaking about that, I mean, we all know, and everybody talks about all these resort courses. We're going to have pods coming up about a couple courses that are at probably one of the most famous resorts out there. But the big thing, and one thing I think that makes me so thrilled, is the hunt for courses that are local to you or within driving distance that don't get showcased, don't get talked about, and you can find incredible, really enjoyable courses around your area that are going to be just as fun, way more affordable, and more obtainable for people to play. And that might be just as fun to stumble across those courses as it is to make an epic buddies trip to go and play some of these giant resort courses that are talked about throughout the golf industry. And I think that's one thing that Union Green is going to allow us to showcase a lot easier through their platform, and then in turn, showcase on our platform as well. And I think that's going to be really, really fun, because places like Carica Park and Spanos, East Moreland, these type of places don't get talked about, on a regular basis or on a platform of our level where they should be showcased, and people should respect and honor their local munis and really, really show them off and let them shine, because we all have those courses around us that mean so much to us. And I am really grateful for the medium that we're going to have to be able to showcase those.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to say, I know this is kind of potentially strange because you're obviously on this, Chris, but I just wanted to also say, Chris, how thankful I am to you, because I mean, I've said this, I think, a couple times over our almost 100 episodes, which is crazy to say, but Chris and I are kind of the ham and egg, where Chris is always the one who's pushing us to, or pushing me to kind of think bigger. Like when I think about the cookout, I've really kind of taken the reins on that. But when Chris first brought up a tournament, I was like, dude, no way. Like, nobody's going to come. No one's going to want to do that. And I was wrong. And I think it's been something that we'll talk about in a little bit, but we're expanding on. And we have 36 people coming down to Soul Park, almost doubling it this year. And this kind of same thing where it's like, Chris is reaching out to people, and I'm like, dude, who's going to want to partner with us? Like, we're talking about conversating and eating hot dogs. And what the fuck? Like, no one's actually going to want to do that. And I was wrong. So I just want, and even like us expanding, right? Like the idea of like with PAX and like really utilizing Jack to like, I don't know. It's just I feel bashful saying this, but like I'm just appreciative to you, Chris, and like watching this grow. Your ability to kind of help push us forward and be like, I don't know why we wouldn't try, right? I think it's made us a lot better. It's very much appreciated. So thank you for kind of helping us push the ball forward. Because with you, I think we probably would have right now, we'd have, my guess is 95 pretty good episodes, and that's about it. But like, we wouldn't have had on Tron, we wouldn't have had on Tom Coyne, we wouldn't have had on Ian, all of these people that's kind of really just been a gigantic thrill to talk to. We wouldn't have even had them. So keep turning on those ideas, and I'll do my best to help. The three of us will help our best to help you execute on kind of these big ideas you have, because it seems to be working. So cheers, buddy.
I absolutely appreciate that. Well, kind of leaning on that, let's talk about some goals that we have for the Municipals this year. So, Ashton, what's first up on our goals docket?
Yeah, so with the idea, we're trying. Hopefully, y'all have seen this, and this has been honestly, a huge thanks to Jack and Pax. Jack has been yelling about us being more structured since day one, and I think that obviously having two sets of hands helping has been huge. So I think that there's kind of, when you're thinking about us historically, it's probably always been the podcast, which is good. That's always going to be kind of the backbone of who we are. But I think that there's going to be kind of four pillars what we're hoping to do moving forward. One is the podcast, which Chris will talk about in a second. I don't think much is going to change. I think it's bi-weekly, really focus on quality over quantity, really good guests, like things that hopefully you guys will want to hear us talk about. Video. This is going to be Pax's domain. We don't really know what this means yet. We've got some ideas, but we're not going to give away the plot. We have some ideas that we're working on for later this year, but I'll let Pax talk about that. But just expanding into video at all, that's going to be kind of Pax's realm. Jack will help as well, but obviously this is kind of what Pax does quite literally for a living. Our tournament, obviously, the Cookout 2.0 at Soul Park is happening in May. Unfortunately, registration for that is closed, but it'll be happening again next year. We're definitely hoping to see some new faces. We're going to be having a second Cookout, different name, but we're going to be doing that in September. And then next year, there will be one as well. Again, we'll dive into that in a second. And then the last part is kind of merch. And that's where, like, when I think about Jack, there's a lot of things I think about with Jack, but it's usually like 1:12 in the morning and Jack sending me some DM of some crazy design or something going on. And we just thought that, like, what we respect so much about brands like Sugarloaf, for example, is the bespoke nature. And, Jack is, I was going to say fashionista, but I think that implies something I don't mean. Jack's just very stylish. And we're just kind of trying to think about the bespoke nature combined with kind of Jack's fashion sense, and kind of like bespoke is probably the word. And so having these kind of be like where I think each of us have strengths. We're like, I'm good at event planning. Chris is really good at getting, how do you get Tom Coyne to come on the podcast when we have like 6 people listening a week? Pax obviously does, again, video for a living, and Jack is kind of the prince of his own world. And so we kind of want to really empower him to do that. So, and also since there's 4 of us, it really helps us kind of specifically go into our strengths. So we want to kind of quickly dive into each of these, kind of some of our individual thoughts, because I think each of the 4 of us are kind of owning a specific areas we're thinking about it. So Big Chris, since it's our bread and butter, do you want to talk a little bit about the podcast this year? Anything you want to highlight specifically for kind of pillar 1 that's our podcast?
Yeah, so for us, a big thing is, as you guys have known already throughout the year, we've gone to bi-weekly. Big thing for us there is we're just trying to give you guys stronger content coming into this year. And from what we see, we think this year has come off extremely strong. I think the content has been stronger than any year in the past. It has been great with the guests that we've had to come on, the topics that we've been able to talk about. One thing, I try to drum up as many people as I can to be able to get on the pod, and people that I personally respect and reach out to see if they'll come on as guests. But I always encourage anybody to reach out to us, DM us, send us an email at the municipalspodcast@gmail.com. Reach out to us and let us know if there's any content you want us to talk about, if there's any guests you want us to have on. I absolutely love feedback and people giving me, ideas of people to reach out to and get on the podcast. So anything along those lines, if any of our listeners want to reach out and ask for something specific, we love that. So for the pod this year, I'm trying to work on some really great guests coming out for the rest of the year. We're going to be doing some more clumped together course reviews. We'll hopefully do some live recordings with maybe our travel series or with us at some of these tournaments and just test some things out and see how they go. But, just expect really solid, thought through content this year. That is our main goal this year, is to get you guys the best product we can.
Beautiful. Pax, do you want to talk about, again, I know nothing is like set in stone yet, but do you kind of want to talk about your vision for the video side of stuff, especially later this year?
Yeah, sure. So, we have a lot of great ideas kind of floating around, but some of the things that, I'm kind of envisioning about us moving forward is definitely, us moving to kind of a video platform that everyone can see here, and trying to create like a broader kind of social network. So YouTube, for instance, getting our brand on there and getting everything kind of up to date, making sure that a lot of the content is kind of fluid between IG, IG, the pod, like, wherever you guys are listening to right now, and then on YouTube, and really just growing the media side of things. And then, of course, kind of looking down the pipeline later this year, telling kind of, really great stories around the travel series that we want to kind of accomplish later this year. And then, a lot of the tournaments that we have coming up, telling great stories around there. And a lot of kind of my influences right now are on no laying up. So treating it a little bit more organically, and telling really great, just really great stories that will be, relatable to a lot of golfers out there, a lot of people who kind of just play municipal courses, or local courses around the area, wherever you guys are. But yeah, I don't know, very excited kind of what we're doing right now, and really excited for where this video thing is taking us. And I know we have a lot of great ideas, and we're still working out the kinks and everything, but there's a lot of potential, and yeah, just really excited for that side.
Cool. Jack, do you want to talk merch? And I think also too, I mean, we're kind of thinking about utilizing you as a super utility player. So merch, social, really anything you want to talk about.
Yeah, I'm definitely in line with what Pax is talking about with telling stories. I think that's what we all do really well. We have done really well in the pod, is telling stories through the podcast. Each of you guys have your own strengths when we have guests on and when we're bringing guests on. But I think the whole goal this year is to be able to elevate that through more visual storytelling. And for me, at least, one of my big goals is to be able to make us a little bit more consistent with, what stories we're telling visually on our Instagram account with Pax, working with him on a content calendar, working with Union Green on some of those things that we're going to be delivering for them. So definitely agree with what you, Ashton and Chris, are saying as far as utilizing me more. I think more for creative direction and visual direction on the merch side. I think those two things are things that I've been super interested about, over the last couple of years that I just haven't been able to do because of my past job, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Little breadcrumb there that I got laid off in January, and talk about goals at the end of this. I'll tell you guys about where I'm working now and in the future. But yeah, just doing more visual storytelling. Definitely love the idea that we talked about way early on when we first started talking to PAX about like local stories and exploring other types of public/municipal golf stories that we can all tell. And it's, hopefully by the end of the year, what we want to get to is really, it's not just Ashton and Chris all the time. It's also me and Pax diving into other things that we're interested about that are, related to the public golf and municipal golf brand that we are as a group. So as far as the merch drops, we're still in the infancy of it. Right now, we're really focused on working on the merch for the upcoming cookout. We're super excited about that. We're just talking about custom ball marks that we're going to be doing ourselves. Chris has a great, also has great like creative direction for that in terms of like the things that he wants to put into people's hands when they join our tournaments. But eventually, we want to. What I think our goal this year is to be able to do at least 2 merch drops that are really cool, really limited. And just we want to be able to create things that people are going to want to use daily, and maybe reach some, be able to start doing some really unique and to use Ashton's word, bespoke stuff that nobody else is doing. I have a bunch of ideas that are tied to, to talk about what he's talking about earlier. I've been looking at how like brands like Louis Vuitton, Stone Island, and all these luxury brands are like sourcing all of their fabrics and materials. And I'm like, like it shouldn't just be like, luxury brands that are being able to use these really cool fabrics. Like I want to be able to create like, even if it's a rangefinder pouch or something like that with like really nice luxury leather, but still make it affordable for people. And that's why I'm thinking more in terms of like the limited drops. But we just want to make some cool shit because all of us, like Ashton, Big Chris, they're both inspired by like honestly like 2 really different styles. I think like Chris is more street style. He loves his Nike collection. Shout out to both Nike and Adidas. But Chris loves his shoe collection there. He loves all the street brands, and Ashton's more he's got the tapered pants that cut off at the ankles, and he's not I'm not saying that he's more put together, but he's just more of that tailored type of brand that we're hoping to take those inspirations and work together and just create cool shit that we, at least us 4 will start wearing, and then hopefully the rest of the people that are into the limited drops will also buy and start to rock. So yeah, I'm super excited for all the things that we're doing, and I'm super excited for the structure of it all, and very excited that Union Green is able to kind of really this partnership with them. They're the drivers of the travel series that we've been alluding to. We're just not talking about it that much right now because we're still thinking about the creative aspect of it and really the timing and things like that. But hopefully we're looking to drop that sometime at the end of this year, maybe closer to the end of spring, hopefully, if timing works out. But yeah, those are a lot of the things that I'm super excited for.
Yeah, and I think selfishly, this is your friend, Jack. I mean, I guess I've only known you for a couple years, but I spent a lot of time with you. And I think where obviously a lot of your frustration has been sort of just in general is when you sort of feel like you're put within a box. And I think our whole goal here is just to like remove the box and say like, do whatever you want, right? Like, yeah, sure, ask our opinion, but we kind of all think about golf the same way, and excited to kind of just let you kind of go crazy and do. I mean, when you hear me, I'm not a big designer guy, but you say Louis Vuitton fabrics, I'm interested. Like as a visor guy, I'm interested. Like I don't know what that would look like
Yeah.
in practice, but I'm excited to see what you come
Yeah.
up with. That's for sure.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
talking like gaudy Louis Vuitton shit, but just like,
We could.
you
We
know,
could. Who knows?
yeah, I mean, we could. Who knows? We might take some $3,000 bags, cut them up, and turn them into range pouches and sell them in Korea or something. Who knows?
Okay,
I don't know.
I can say real quick business meeting on the call. I don't think we're gonna do that, but you know.
I
Okay.
know. I'm just, yeah, we're not gonna do gaudy shit. You know, we're just, yeah, we want to make some the you know, bottom line of it all is we want to make cool shit that we're gonna wear, and hopefully the friends that we have that, you know, join our tournament, people who listen, people who watch the videos, that they're gonna see us wear and gonna want to wear them too.
I think
Yeah.
that's the key right there, Jack, is we're making things that we love and appreciate. And we're hoping
Yeah.
that everyone else is going to love and appreciate, because I think the best things that are made in the world are from the love of the people making them. So if you don't
Yeah.
have that feeling towards that product or what you're putting out to the world, it's not going to show within the product. So if we're not wearing it and we're not feeling it, we're not going to put it out.
Yeah, we're not even gonna make it. So a lot of it, you know, I'm figuring out the process, but for me, it's like, you know, like I'll give an example. I have you know, I'm not a big Tyson Lamb guy, but I have a ball marker that's from Tyson Lamb, and it's just like a small Warriors ball marker, and I love the quality of how he made it, things like that. Like we're trying to take inspiration from different things of like the quality of the product, but as well as the utility of the product. I think like those are the two biggest things. Like it has to be great quality. It has to be something that you're going to use, you know, some of it on the golf course for playing golf, but also, you know, if it's a great hoodie that we source and it, you know, has really good utility for people, we want them to be able to wear it off the course as well. But yeah, I'm super excited from that, and I'm super excited to see where, you know, all of our 4 pillars and our goals this year take us.
Yeah, and the fourth pillar, which I'll talk about quickly, is our tournament. So, like I said, the cookout, the second annual cookout, is taking place in early May. Last year we had 24. This year we have 36. We have 20 of 24 people returning, so we have 16 new faces, which is incredibly exciting. And then this fall, we're going to be doing the camp out in Oregon. So the idea is obviously we're kind of a half California, half Oregon podcast. We're going to have 2 anchor sites, one in California, one in Oregon. More details will be coming there. Chris is getting that dialed. And then this is not locked in yet, but just kind of letting y'all behind the scenes. Our kind of last idea when it comes to the tournament is also starting next year, adding in a travel tournament, and this will be at a location that moves. And the idea is to really, because we think that our 2 anchor sites in California and Oregon are places that we should build around in our home states, but that there are obviously thousands of other wonderful public golf courses that we should spotlight, places like Common Ground, a bunch of places like that. So the idea is it'll move and also probably get a different audience, because I imagine there's people who live in Chicago who might not be able to make it to Ojai, but if it's in their backyard, maybe they'll come join. And I think the last thing to say, that speak personally, and of course, Chris, Jack, if you guys want to add, please do. But I think the tournaments, this sounds obvious in hindsight, but I think what's special about the tournaments is, you know, we really appreciate to our listeners where, you know, people will DM us and reach out, and a lot of social media engagement. Granted, a lot of it is on Ticonderoga pencils and hot dogs, which we very much appreciate. But we also get people that reach out and are like, hey, I was looking to play in the Bay Area. I didn't have any idea of where to play, and I built a whole golf trip on what you guys said. That's amazing, right? We appreciate that. But it's super cool at the tournament to then take some of those people and suddenly you're like having a beer with them and you're spending all weekend with them, or you're playing alt shot with them. And I think a lot of what we're trying to build via, you know, these platforms are great, but, you know, whether it's your partner or your friend, you don't hang out with your wife on Instagram, you hang out in person. And I think that these are an opportunity for us to spend time with people in real life on really special places. And I think that's where, again, shout out to Chris, he brought up this idea. And last year was like the cookout is like one of the most fun things that I've ever been a part of in my life. And I'm so excited. And that's just the first version. So I think that the goal for these tournaments is to get some healthy competition, but really just to bring a bunch of like-minded people together to really special places at really good deals, and just to really highlight some of the amazing public golf courses, of course, in our states, but also around the country moving forward. And again, that's probably going to be it. We're only going to do 3. Again, we all have personal lives. You know, Chris has a baby, Pax has one on the way. Like, we have a lot of life going on, but I think it's a great way for us to have regular time together and with listeners, and to give people a lot of different opportunities to kind of meet, to make new friends. I mean, our cookout, like we have an Instagram chat for the cookout, and that thing is going all the time with everything from roasting each other about slow play, allegedly, all the way to, what's going on in the PGA Tour and everything in between. So those are our 4 pillars: podcast, video, tournament, and merch, kind of owned by, we're all doing it, but kind of all working together and kind of leading our individual pillar. So, but before we get out of here, I know one thing we wanted to talk about, we did not do kind of a, beginning of the year goals pod, but I think Chris thought it was a good moment to just chime in from each of us about things that are top of mind, things we're working on. You can call this goals, but just kind of a check-in on our personal golf journey, or outside of that. I guess, Jack, yours is kind of both within golf and without golf, kind of both of those things. So actually, Jack, do you want to lead us off? Because obviously you kind of teased your news, but I think definitely worth starting off, because you're the newest member of the Club Champion family, which I should note real quick. Sorry to say one more thing. We are not sponsored by Club Champion. I had multiple people DM me congratulating us about the Club Champion sponsorship. Half of our podcast is employed by Club Champion. We are not sponsored by Club Champion. And on top of that, Club Champion would be stupid to sponsor us, because Chris gives them more free content and free ads than anybody in the world. So love Club Champion. I got my beautiful set of mirrors built by Club Champion, one and only Christopher Reinhardt, but we are not sponsored by Club Champion. But Jack, you are employed by Club Champion, so tell people about that.
Yeah, well, one thing to tie it back to with what you were talking about is just being excited about, I think, the community that we're building. A lot of the tournaments, and even tying back to the podcast, like what Chris does really well is get people together, right? So earlier this year, I got laid off from my job, unfortunately, and went into not necessarily a spiral, but I was like, fuck, what am I going to do with my life? But over, I spent about 45 days living in New York City and Queens, and one of the things that I realized was there's an opportunity for me to be able to get my foot in the door in the golf industry, which I've been trying to do for 2 years. I've interviewed in multiple manufacturing companies and other golf companies over 2 years, and pretty much the whole thing with them is they want somebody with industry experience, and that was definitely frustrating. But one of the things that I did while I was on not so fun employment was I reached out to Chris, who's been silently pushing me to actually apply for Club Champion for, I think, probably the last year or however long he's been employed with Club Champion. And just through our group chat with Chris Hussey as well, and I was like, hey man, like I feel like this is a great opportunity to get my foot in the door at least. So I applied for the job, went through the interview process really quickly, and actually I'm in Chicago right now doing my Club Champion University training. So by April 7th, I'm going to be a master club fitter, and I'm going to learn how to build clubs as well in shop. But yeah, that's my next that's where my ship is sailing, and I'm super excited.
Watch out, San Carlos. Jack is on his way. Get ready, start booking, get them in line.
Yeah.
Jack is ready to fit motherfuckers out there.
I don't know if I want to be that aggressive, but yeah, I'm super excited.
Specifically,
to learn about
motherfuckers. If you're not a motherfucker, Jack is not interested in fitting you. You have to be a motherfucker in order to
fitting motherfuckers only. And also on my way to becoming a TrackMan Golfer of the Year, because they done fucked up Aaron with giving me access to TrackMan and learning about all these different numbers. I'm super stoked. Shout out to Chris for being diligent and pushing me to do that and being my referral in the company. It was a great process, and I'm like being fire hosed with learning about all different brands, specifically how Club Champion builds clubs, which is the biggest thing. So as far as my goals, one of my goals actually this year is to get fit again. Big Chris did fit me last year. I think around, was it March, right? It was yeah, I think it was almost a year ago now. Not listening to Big Chris at the time, being a stubborn person, I decided to just take everything and basically build the clubs locally, which I did save money. I looked it up. I saved a good amount of money, but in measuring my clubs this week, which was one of our assignments, measuring my clubs, they were not built to specs that I needed them to be built. I think Chris fit me to like D1 or D2 as far as swing weight. All my clubs were super light, extremely light. I think about
C9?
like
C8?
No, oh, dude, D4.
Oh, they were heavy.
No, they were lighter. So you fit me into D1s, and they were
D1,
like
D2.
Yeah, and they were way lighter. Even
So
my driver
lighter,
was like,
so lighter would be a lower letter. So lighter would be like C9, C8. So if they're weighing to D4, they're heavier. You're going
So
through
all my
university,
clubs,
my man.
on his
You'll
way to
get
master
this.
fitter. Not quite there yet.
Yeah.
On his way to master fitter.
Yeah. So all my clubs were built by a shop in the Bay Area, way lighter. And even through that process, there's a lot of headache as far as builders like screwing up my shafts, so I had to reorder shafts. All of that. All that to say is I'm learning how to build clubs properly, and some of the benefits of actually going through a fitting session, as well as getting a company like Club Champion specifically to build your clubs, is the accuracy of how they build things. Like they literally build things to the gram pretty much. So yeah, one of my goals, which is going to happen this week, and it's going to happen when I get back to my shop, I'm going to do basically a double fit, is get fit again. Another goal of mine is to break 5.0 on gin. Probably going to be playing less rounds this year, just because I'm getting into a new job that's very time consuming and very time demanding. So breaking 5, I think I'm getting there. In order to do that, my whole mentality is playing golf, not golf swing. So the way that I want to do that is to be more aggressive off the tee and be more conservative with my approach shots, which one of the things I was working on the last couple months is really just narrowing down what my miss is and playing with that in mind, which is a big thing. And safe to say, I think my last couple of rounds I've been really focused on just playing golf and not golf swing. So getting away from just like, oh, I need to get to this position to be able to play golf really well. It's not about that. It's really just playing the course in front of me. And lastly, for me, as far as a goal is, I probably lost like 5 miles per hour of club head speed in the last 6 months. So trying to gain that back and maybe gain some more a little bit. One of the first things I'm going to buy in the next couple months is just a speed training device. Probably what is it called? Speed stack or something like that? Stack speed?
So there's
the stack system
and the speed sticks. So I've been doing the speed sticks, and I've picked up 3 miles an hour in a month. So me and you got to have a side chat.
Yeah, man, I'm into the stack system. That's the one I'm gonna get just because of I like the way that's tied to your phone and everything. So yeah, those are my couple goals: is get fit again, break 5 on gin, play golf, not golf swing, and speed, baby. Pax, let's throw it over to you. What are your goals for this year?
Oh man. Well, Ashton teased this a little bit ago, but my wife and I are expecting our first baby. July 4th is actually our due date. So depending on what how timing works out, there might be fireworks. But yeah, I think kind of thinking around that, trying to like figure out or try to get in as much golf before the baby comes. I was talking to, or Chris was telling me basically like kind of what to expect. I'm going in with not a lot of expectations. I'm super excited. Can't wait for the little guy to get here. But yeah, I think for me, like, yeah, trying to get in a lot of golf, as much golf as possible. And kind of related to the performance of golf last year, I played really well. And I think living up in the Pacific Northwest, Chris knows, you get like, I don't know, 3, 4, maybe 5 months out of the year, great weather for golf. And then after that, for me specifically, I don't swing, I don't swing a lot or play a lot of golf during the winter time. When it gets to like crappy weather, courses are pretty muddy and courses are shut down, or like we had a really bad snowstorm couple weeks ago. So I think for me, like, I really want to focus on like the quality of my rounds that I'm playing, and really focusing on like my fitness, like golf fitness specifically, getting a faster swing, focusing on like, a lot of core exercises and stuff like that, but focusing on like the off course stuff. So like mental fitness, mental sports psychology, and all of that. Something that I'm really interested in, and last year I focused on that a lot, and it paid off. Got my handicap, I think, down to like a 5-1, which is the lowest it's been since college, obviously. But yeah, I think another goal of mine is kind of more related to like the video stuff that we were talking about. So yeah, creating just amazing stories to tell with all of the listeners on here. Yeah, I don't know, really excited for all of that stuff. But yeah, I think number one thing on my end is first new baby coming along.
Hey, Pax, it is a big step and it's a learning experience, and you'll go into the first 3-month black hole when the baby's born, and golf will be the last priority on your brain. But it's all worth it, and golf should be the last priority on your mind when you've got that little one in your hands. So it's an amazing experience. I'm super excited for you. It's been a great experience for me. So you're gonna have a blast with it. But I'm gonna lean into kind of my goals this year. So for me, it's pretty simple. It's become more athletic, become more flexible, just work on my fitness. My golf swing, my golf game, I feel is in pretty good state, even though I haven't been able to play that much with the baby. Luckily, I work in a store where I get to hit balls every day. So, I probably hit balls 4 to 5 days out of the week, which, is hard for even guys that don't have kids to be able to do that. So I would say that's one blessing, working in the golf industry. My golf swing stays active at all times, but as my wife coined it, being chubby Fleetwood, I need to become more Tommy Fleetwood than chubby Fleetwood. So I need to get my fitness down a little bit. I need to shed some of these pounds. I need to become more flexible. So shout out to Doc. I promised him I would sign up for Full Body Fix. I finally did, Doc. I finally signed up. I ordered my weights. I'm getting it going. And then I'm working on the speed training as well with the speed stick system. I love the stack system. I already owned the speed stick, so I'm not going to go out there and purchase another system. So I'm just running with the speed sticks and working with Doc's Full Body Fix. And Ashton can contest, if anybody is a parent or is in lack of time but still want to work on their fitness, especially on a golf related, spectrum, you guys should all sign up for Full Body Fix and check out that episode we did with Doc, and listen to him talk about, what he does and his program and everything. It's a really, really incredible program. And I'm pretty sure he's still using our promo code, which was in that episode as well. Still active. You can still utilize it. It ends up being $10 a month for the first 3 months. And then it's $20 a month after that. I mean, it's not expensive. It's very affordable. Great instructions to get yourself dialed in on your fitness. And then my one goal is being a fitter. Trust my fit. Trust that I have the fitted clubs that work for me, and don't fucking tinker with it. My bag is my bag. It is what it is. Do not tinker with it. So my goal this year is I'm running my bag through the entire year, hopefully beyond that, and not tweaking, touching anything. Just, that's kind of what Pax was talking about with mindset and things like that. And if you're thinking your clubs aren't right, which there's no reason they shouldn't be, because I'm an expert fitter and I fit them to myself and to my specifications and built them perfectly to what I need them to be. So I cannot have a mindset that it's the clubs. It has to be me. So that's my goal this year, is stick with the clubs, trust my clubs, swing my swing, be more athletic. Ashton, goals, sir.
Chris, which bag though? I feel like you have you sent us a picture of so not to drive by shoot you, but which bag is it?
Well, when you're in the industry, you're given a lot of equipment, but it's the same bag Ashton's seen me been playing with the last 3-4 times that I've been out there. So it's the Hanma irons, LA Golf shafts. That setup that I've been running with. The only change that happened this year was I took my 4 and 5 iron out of the bag and I replaced them with a 5 hybrid. Definitely leaning on the Ashton way of playing, going full LPGA bag. I've got 3 hybrids in the bag, a 3-wood and a driver, 6 iron through wedges this year. Not playing long irons at all, and it has been spectacular move.
Congratulations.
It's been wonderful. I recommend all people that struggle with their long irons to LPGA the bag.
Yeah. Well, my goal is
blades.
Or you could be Pax and play with blades that are handed to him from our buddy Kyle, who also plays blades that should not play blades. And I've told him that. So we're working on Pax. With all those sets that I have, I think I'll be able to help Pax out, and we'll get him in something that fits him a little better and gets him to hit the ball a little bit cleaner without having to hit a dime size spot on his irons.
Amazing. I think we were calling yesterday in our chat butter knives, which somehow turns into butter forks, which but the butter forks, that's what Pax is playing.
That was I think I was just angry at my hands for messing up that saying.
I can understand. My goals, I'm gonna hit 2,000 cuts a month, 2,000 hooks draws a month. No, just kidding. That was Jack last year.
That was Jack last
Love
year.
you, Jack. That was the
Hey,
dumbest
I
thing.
got through 60% of it.
Congratulations. I did the math, and I think Cussy did the math. And if you actually hit the number of draws that Cussy said, you would have spent like $600 a month in the driving range. So sorry, Jack. I just had to do it because I remember last year where it's like, whoa, you're waking up at 4 a.m. and hitting 600 draws a day. I was like, man, the dude's body's gonna fall apart. But my goal is kind of two things. So you all have seen the video that we've posted a couple times of me hitting the snap hook off of the fake old course scoreboard at Royal Links, which again, RIP, does not exist anymore.
Rest in peace, Royal Links.
My big goal this year is to like vanquish the driver. Like driver, it's been sporadic. When it's on, I play great. When it's off, I play terrible. And I decided at the beginning of this year that I really wanted to like really make the driver where, look, you're going to mishit it sometimes, but that the oh my God, where did that snap hook come from? Essentially remove that. So what I've done, I actually signed up. This was the very beginning of the year, as mentioned previously. I'm going to Kevin Pauly. Today was actually my first formal lesson. I had my kind of like intro swing assessment with him. And just to give Kevin a shout out, I had my intro assessment with him where we were talking about pressure board and stuff. And since I saw him, I have hit one hook that I can remember. Of course, it was against Hussey in a 36-hole match where I proceeded to hit a big hook into the shit to lose or to tie the match with Hussey. So apparently it can still come out in moments of high pressure. But the fun thing was at Bandon recently, definitely could hit some slices, but I'm okay with the ball slicing. It's just that kind of head high duck hook has already gone away, which is exciting. So I'm excited to fix the driver, and then with that, work with Jack and Chris to like get fit into the right driver for me now, right? Because I got fit into a driver in 2020, back when I just picked up golf, and before that I was using the wrong, like everything was wrong. But really getting a driver that is going to promote a cut, and also like y'all want to pick up some speed. So right now my driver is I think at 44.5. I want to see if I can get a 46-inch driver that I can control. I don't know, just like dabble with you guys to really figure out work with Kevin to figure out the driver that's right for me. But first and foremost, really learning how to hit the driver properly. And then one goal, kind of that's a subset of a larger goal that I realized in my lesson today, is just like understanding the golf swing more. Like I'm with you, Jack. When I play golf, I want to be playing golf, not golf swing. But what I've realized is for someone who's a 5 handicap, who's broken par, who spends every constant waking moment thinking about golf, I've realized working with Kevin how little I understood about, like again, the pressure board. He put me on the pressure board and like I almost fell over. Like the idea of like this weight transfer, and there's just things that are pretty simple about the golf swing that I've just never thought about. And when I think about, I'll play really good golf and then I'll play really bad golf. And I know golf is up and down, but I think a lot of my inconsistency is when something comes up, I don't actually know enough to diagnose myself. And again, I want to play golf, not golf swing. But if out of the blue you start to hit snap hooks, if you're an intelligent golfer, you should be able to kind of self-diagnose what happened to make where you can kind of band-aid a fix to the rest of the round. And I haven't done that. So I feel like really working with Kevin, I bought a 10-pack of lessons to really understand more about the golf swing. And then on top of that, the biggest part is like, again, not that I hit great iron shots all the time, but really, really, really getting dialed in on driver with Kevin as far as the swing, and then working with you guys to build me. Kevin was saying, again, a little bit of gear talk. He was saying finding me a driver where we can add a little bit of loft to help me kind of like cover the golf ball to hit a cut, but in a way where like, again, I didn't know this till he said this, y'all probably do. But when you add loft on your driver, it tends to actually promote a draw. So trying to find that right setup, like he was saying, like a TaylorMade or something where I can kind of cover the golf ball with my driver to promote a cut, but still get kind of the launch characteristics I'm looking for. And I was like, sure, dude, like you and Chris talk, like, I don't really know what that means. Like, I'm not a gear guy, but I think understanding more of the mechanics of driver and then building a driver that like it's like cool. This is my thing. This thing's going to be a weapon. And then like you guys, not yet, but probably later this year. Once that gets dialed in, then focus more on kind of the stack system. So that when I think that getting back to like the end of this year, I understand the driver. It's fit for me. I'm swinging it faster. Because right now, like a lot of people, my golf game is just, it's very dependent on driver and it's too inconsistent. But already working with Kevin and essentially removing the right side of the golf course has been enormous, but there's a lot of room to clean up. So, and then this has been a goal for the last couple of years, but this shouldn't be that hard. I'm a 5.3 right now, but I want to have the handicap to be able to try to qualify for the Cal Mid-Am. Do I think I'll get it in year one? And I have not played a lot of competitive golf? No. But I would like to have the handicap where I can go out there and tee it up at a Cal Mid-Am and say, hey, whatever happens, happens. But like, this is my handicap. I should be here. Let's go be able to do that. So that's kind of a goal for this year to get me to 2024. But, shave a couple strokes off the handicap to make it where I can try to qualify for the Cal Mid-Am. And then I think over the next couple of years, it's just, working my ass off to try to qualify for the Cal Mid-Am. But step one is I don't have the handicap to even try now. So that's my goal. And I think obviously working with Kevin, turning driver more into a weapon, we're just going to see strokes come off really, really fast. So those are my goals.
Good goals for the rest of the year for all of us. I think they're all obtainable this year. I think that's the one thing for all of us. So, I'm excited for this year for the podcast. I'm excited for all of our golf games. I'm excited for Pax becoming a dad. And again, happy birthday, Pax. Coming on the pod, recording on your birthday. That's an awesome one. So we appreciate you taking the time, out of your birthday schedule and notching us in. So guys, anything else to kind of close out the episode?
No, man, I'm super excited and super excited for the way that we're growing and all these things that we're trying to do this year. I'm excited to see, maybe we should schedule something for December, but like to see where we are at the end of the year and talk about
yeah
end of year recap for Municipals.
Yeah, we'll do an achievement award ceremony.
the Dundies.
You and I,
Dundies.
yeah, we're gonna be fighting for the TrackMan Golfer of the Year sweater.
Yep, absolutely. Well, we'll see who comes up on top on there. But guys, this was an awesome episode. I'm excited for this year. I'm excited for what's coming up and excited to get down to SoCal and play in the cookout in a couple, about a little over a month now. So, all right, guys, take it easy. I will talk to you guys soon. Late.